I came from a family up in Wirral, where my mother was a useless cook, still is, but my dad was a decent baker. He had a chain of bakeries up the East Coast. And so I sort of learned from a very early age what baking was all about and how important it was. But I ended up sort of on a Sunday, normally only saw my dad on a Saturday because he was working nights. And then he'd have Saturday off, and then we'd go out for a really flash posh do down at Burney Inn. You probably don't get them down here, but it's like top stuff, you know, Wagyu beef, the whole thing. And we used to go there on a Saturday night, and it was like a big treat, so all the family were together. And my dad used to watch the wrestling on the TV on a Saturday afternoon. And the beauty of that was we could beat him up, and there'd be three boys, my other two brothers, on top of him having a good scrap. And that was our bonding session with my dad. But then occasionally, when I was a little boy, I was sent into my dad's bakery to go and look at the flour, watch what the guys were doing, watching all the cakes coming around. And it's a Victoria sandwich, not a Victoria sponge. The amount of times I've been to a WI meeting and just mentioned Victoria sponge, and they all went, oh, it's actually a Victoria sandwich. There's no such thing as a Victoria sponge. I learned that because I got gnashes and dentures thrown at me all day. But then I ended up spending a lot of time in my dad's bakery growing up. So I learned about the techniques, the oven work, the mixers, creaming buns, jamming donuts from a very early age. It wasn't until I got a bit older, and I used to sort of watch, you know, the funny enough, the Fanny, Johnny and Fanny doing the whole thing, you know. And it feels like that working with Mary in many ways. Not that I'm Johnny to her Fanny, but it's that sort of relationship. We get on so well together, outside of work and in work. And she's such a great person to work with. And we often pick up the phone and just talk about all sorts. But the thing is, when I got into baking after my teens, I went to art school briefly, and then I ended up working in my dad's bakery. And when I was in art school, I studied Auguste Rodin. One of the things that he said once, a big tree can't grow under the shadow of another. My dad was a great baker. So I had to move away from my dad's business and ended up working at the Dorchester, Claridge's briefly, Clifton, Cyprus 6 years. And then I went through France, Italy, and came back eventually to this country. But funny enough, TV found me in Cyprus. I was working in the Annabelle and the Anassa Hotel over there. And while I was over there, a film crew came across with Thane Prince, who was doing a program called Food from the Village. Now, the producer, a guy called Jake, met up with my wife, who's also working at the hotel, and said, my wife said, oh, you should meet my husband, you know, you get him on that program. I said, is he Cypriot? I said, no, he's a Scouser. And he said, all right, okay. And I went and met the producer and said, oh yeah, you should do some TV. Do you mind coming on the program talking about Cypriot pastries and baklava? And I said, yeah, that's fine. So I went up, did that. And at the end of it, I sort of walk out thinking, I'm going to be dead famous. As you do when you first do your TV, that everyone's going to know what I do. And then I left, and I came back, and my wife said, what do you think? I said, yeah, it was amazing. They said I was all right, and I should phone this number when I go back to the UK. Originally, I wasn't going to go back for 3 years, but I ended up going back, I think about a year later, and I phoned up an agent, signed up, and then within 2 months, I met up with James Martin. We did a series together. And it was bizarre, because then I started working for UK Food, worked with Jenny Barnett, and then out of the blue, I had a business running, and it was sort of taking up my life. I was invoicing, I was delivering, I was baking, I was doing everything. And then out of the blue, I think it was 2009, I get a call saying, oh, would you be interested in doing some judging on a new BBC programme that's been commissioned? It's been commissioned, yeah. What's it called? The Great British Bake Off. Right, so what do you want me to do? Judge. Right, okay. We'll send someone down with a camera tomorrow, critique what's in the bag. I said, fine. So I turned up, and this literally 17-year-old girl turned up. I thought, they're not serious. She's only about this big carrying this massive camera. And I thought, then they don't mean this, you know. I've been through so many things like this, and you build yourself up and you go. And then she turned up with this bag of stuff, tipped it out, muffins, cakes, everything. She said, judge that. So I judged it. And she was great. We'll speak to you soon. Right. So I took her back to the station where she went back up to that London. And then we ended up, about 2 weeks passed, and he said, would you like to come down to London to come and meet the other person that we're choosing as well? She's an older person. And I went, what do you mean older person? He said, Mary Berry. She said, we can't tell you who it is. I said, it's Mary, Mary, innit? There's only one old person I know that can actually pull it off. So I said, I wonder if it is. And I walked in, it was Mary sitting there. She said, oh, marvellous. And she came on, and she flung her arms around me and gave me a great big kiss. And after 10 minutes, we actually stopped. And I said, do you know what, Mary? We met 10 years ago. She said, yeah, I remember.